In today's episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with a couple people from Too Fat to Fly Games to talk all about Trouble in Templetown. Then we'll see what's on Kickstarter, but first, a message about our sponsors. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly powered by both Phase Shift Games and Thundergriff Games, who are bringing us a new game on Kickstarter called Dungeon Drop. More to be said during Kickstarter Corner, so stay tuned for that. But make sure to check out and back Dungeon Drop on Kickstarter before the 3rd of July. This episode is proudly powered by one of our Kickstarter backers, Redwell Games, and their latest game, Six Gun Showdown, the fastest playing, tension-filled game of Wild West shootouts for ages 9 years and older. That's on Kickstarter until Friday the 5th of July. More to come within our Kickstarter Corner portion of the show.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Goodbye to your infecting days, buddy. It's sell time.
Whatever.
Gentlemen, can I join the party? Let's dance, shall we?
Traffic is reported to be slow on the Billy
How many eggs you said you want, honey?
Same as you, my sugar coated pal.
Ride is over, you filthy scum. Oh, is this one of the city attractions, honey?
Hey, what about me?
Your body is a temple. You've heard the saying, right? Well, this is Templetown, a sprawling city inside Stanley teeming with parasites and deadly viruses aiming for one thing and one thing only, poisoning every last one of Stanley's cells. Trouble in Templetown is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players in which you, a team of secret white cell agents, have to secure districts block by block and raise strong immunity walls while fighting off the ever-growing hordes of bacteria and parasites. At the start of each round, every player gets dealt 6 cards. You can use them to move around, raise walls to protect the city, or to defeat enemies. Run around the city as fast as you can, gather DNA points, and arm yourself with special items and powerful curing weapons to help you keep enemies in check. Be careful though, when there are 13 infected zones in the city, you lose the game, so you'd better work together. The game is won as soon as 4 immunity walls are raised and the city is protected. But that's not your usual walk in the park. Enemies will invade on a constant basis. And just to add insult to injury, each round an enemy goes unchallenged, it starts laying nasty eggs that help them all multiply and spread exponentially. And that's how things can get tricky faster than you can say ibuprofen. So the rules are few and learning to play is easy, but winning the game, now that is an entirely different matter. Do you have what it takes to save Templetown?
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me either, but this is the story of Trouble in Templetown, and today we're lucky enough to have on 2 people from Too Fat to Fly Games, both Giuliano and Andrea from Too Fat to Fly Games, the creative masterminds behind this game. Is that right? Is that how you guys fall in line with Trouble in Templetown?
Yeah, which is live right now on Kickstarter.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for hosting us.
No problem. Now, before we jump into the game, let's rewind a little bit if we could. And if you guys can introduce yourselves and tell us how you got into playing tabletop board games.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Giuliano, and I don't know. We started. I started playing board games many years ago when I was still a kid, with I don't know, probably shoots and ladders and that sort of game. And after going for a while through, Monopoly, I remember it was a fun time when I was a kid. Then I discovered, the modern board game era, and the actual fun began. And then one day, a few years ago, I had this crazy idea of designing my own game the way I like it. And the first attempt was, of course, a total waste of time and paper, but it was enough for me to, to get the bug. And fast forward another couple of years, and here comes Moonshiners of the Apocalypse, our first Kickstarter success last year, which now is about to be shipped to our gracious backers. And I gotta admit, I can't wait to see what people will have to say about it.
Oh boy, awesome! Yeah, it looks like a cool game. Yeah, it looks like a really cool game, and it really did really good on Kickstarter, from what I remember as well.
Yeah, it's doing fine.
And what about yourself, Andrea? How did you get into playing tabletop board games?
Well, I think Scrabble was a hit in my family as I was a kid.
Oh yeah, Scrabble too. Yeah, forgot about that.
And then I just, I think I started with Catan and Ticket to Ride and all those starters in modern board games. I tried designing some games on my own, like just had some ideas. And then I met these guys at Too Fat to Fly, and yeah, we're now doing stuff together, which is awesome.
We're a team.
What kind of games are you guys playing these days?
For my part, at least, I don't have much time to play anything else other what we're designing, because at least for now, running this for now still small company, it's designing games and developing them and produce them and all that. It takes pretty much all of our time. Let me put it this way: I have in my library about 15 games which I opened, I punched, but I never played them.
Oh, well, you got further than me. We have a lot of games that we haven't even gotten to punch or whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious. I buy them and I have to punch them. I have to open the the box and see what's in there. But for playing, that's another story.
Well, there you go. Yeah, we open them but don't punch them. So yeah, there you go. Awesome. So that's pretty good. What was the last game you got that you got punched out but haven't played yet, Giuliano?
I got for my birthday Near and Far.
Oh, okay. That's from what is it? That's the same person who did Red Robin Games, or the person that does Above and Below, I think.
Yes, yeah. It's the same. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
I got it in April at my birthday, and until now it still sits there on a shelf, punched but not touched.
Oh boy. What about yourself, Andrea? Are you in the similar predicament?
More or less. I have like all the expansions for Arkham Horror, the card game, because I'm a big fan of it and sort of created an addiction very fast for me. But some of them are still waiting to be played, and didn't got the time to unbox the latest expansion from Robinson Crusoe, Mystery Tales. So this is what I'm excited about.
So you guys are really busy with creating games and stuff. Word on the street is you guys have a new game on Kickstarter. What can you tell us about Trouble in Templetown?
Oh man, Trouble in Templetown, it's a lot of fun. I don't know, we work hard to make it easy to learn, and I think we succeeded. Although it might seem intimidating with all those components we had for it, it's actually quite easy to learn and play, for that matter. And to describe it a little bit, to put it short, in the game you try to defend the city of Templetown, which is in fact there's a little joke here, because this the saying, your body is a temple, and that's what Templetown is. It's an entire city, an entire world inside of inside the body of some guy.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. And in the game, you try to defend this city from the invading hordes of bacteria and parasites. And each round, you get 6 action cards, which you can combine to make as many actions as possible each round. And what I love about this mechanism is that each action card has actually two possible purposes, which means you can combine them in various ways, adapting your strategy not only from one round to another, but with your fellow players as well, because the game is uh, competitive, cooperative, and solo. It works well in either of these.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just about to ask about that because my family, we don't really care for the co-op, but it looks like you also have competitive play. How do those look different, like the competitive versus co-op?
Well, in the competitive mode, first of all, you use actually an extra deck of cards, which are the goal cards, which you can buy each round using actually the victory points. You can spend victory points to buy these goal cards, and whenever you fulfill whatever the requirement of the card is, you get some extra points. But you can also combine these cards in various ways again to double or triple the gain. There are, for example, these cards are color coded, and if you get one of each color, you get some extra points. If you get four of a color, and so on.
Also, I think it becomes more difficult because in co-op mode, actually in every mode, you can use victory points to buy additional actions, let's say. And when you're playing it competitive, probably you're not so likely to give up that point so easily as in co-op.
Yeah, that's also a main difference indeed, because those action cards I told you I talked about earlier, if in, let's say, in one given round you don't have enough to do what you plan to do, you can spend your own victory points to supplement that, which again, it's nice because you always have this question: I want to spend this from my own points to be able to do that and gain points, or do I want to keep them? And yeah, and there's this difference to get back to your question. When you play in co-op, everybody is likely to spend as much as possible because they don't. It doesn't matter that much. But when you're playing in competitive mode, you want to keep those points to yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. So per se, us three sat down to play together competitively. What's my turn gonna look like, Giuliano?
So yeah, during your turn, first of all, you get these 6 cards. Then these cards, you can use them for either to move around the city, either to construct the defense towers that will immunize a district, which gets you closer to victory, or to simply attack the enemies, the parasites and bacteria that invade each round Templetown. And another fun thing is that whenever an enemy sits unchallenged on the board, he lays an egg, an infection egg, and when he manages to lay 3 eggs, that zone he was in, it becomes infected and is lost. And when they manage to infect 13 zones, the game is lost. And what's interesting about it, if you saw the layout of the boards, is that the zones are adjacent one to another. And if, let's say, one enemy this round had to lay 3 eggs to infect the zone, the next one adjacent to it will only have to lay only 1 egg. So what I'm trying to say is that the difficulty escalates pretty quick because of this mechanic.
Okay, awesome. And so per se, we're playing competitively. I know we don't want to have them the board get infected or whatnot. We don't want to have the 13 areas infected or whatnot, like you said. But how do I win? Like, do I have to have the most victory points, or how will I know if I'm the winner?
Yeah, in the end, the game ends in when either the enemies manage to infect 13 zones, as I said, and when we lose, or when we manage to raise enough immunity walls to immunize the districts. Each district has a zone where you can build 6 walls, actually 6 blocks, which all together make a wall. and whenever a wall is built, that zone, that district is completely immunized, and you can no longer worry about it because it's immunized. And depending on the on the number of players, uh, we have to immunize more or less districts, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I think so. And if I immunize more than the other people, do I win?
No, that's we immunize them cooperatively.
Oh, okay. How does the competitive element fit in? Like how, like if we're playing competitively, how do I win? Like,
It's a matter of simply making more points than the other players.
okay, okay, so more points, so that makes sense.
Because each time, whenever you, yeah, the thing is, well, maybe what I forgot to explain is that whenever you raise a building, like a block for this wall, you get points. Whenever you manage to cure to defeat an enemy, again you get points. And both in competitive and cooperative modes, we have to make sure first of all that we don't lose the game.
Okay, yeah, you're kind of a balancing act, so that makes sense. Now you're doing something really intuitive or something that I've never seen done on a Kickstarter per se. So rewards, like people commenting on the what I guess it's called backers value reward. What can you tell us about that?
Oh yeah, we had this idea that the most the most active backer on the comment section, uh, we get to reward them with he gets to be in the game actually as a character.
Okay, awesome. You didn't do that with Moonshiners, did you?
No, it was an idea that came to us now.
Awesome. So how is that going for you? Can like what kind of success are you seeing with that?
Until now, only the first level was unlocked. We're maybe we'll get to the second one soon.
And do you see like a lot more comments on this one than the last one, or?
Oh, I think yeah. I think it kind of worked.
Yeah, it boosted the comment section.
Yeah, there are a few people that are quite actively commenting.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd never seen something like that before. Now, when it comes to Trouble in Templetown, what makes your game pop as one my audience should go check out? And if they like what they see on Kickstarter, back it today.
I don't know. I think that's an easy one. The gameplay, for sure. The game is although it's quite easy to learn, and once you go through the rulebook, it's not so complicated game, but it's challenging enough to win. I mean, even for us who play the game like I don't know gazillion times, it still surprises us. If you're not paying attention, at some point you might still lose the game, no matter how you how well you know it.
Okay, awesome. Well, do you have anything to add to that, Andrea, on why people should go ahead and back Trouble in Templetown today?
Well, it's a very cool game, and it's very fun.
Yeah, maybe the theme I would mention, because the theme is the game is filled with all sorts of jokes and puns that players can discover. For example, each of the 5 boards is literally filled with dozens and dozens of little scenes depicting characters in all kinds of funny situations, which we created that so players during the game discover them and have the kind of reaction like, oh, look what this guy here is doing, or that kind of thing. It's filled with small jokes, the entire each of the 5 boards actually.
Okay, awesome. And it doesn't look like it's just pasted on either. It looks like it actually all goes together.
Yeah, no, they are unique, and also each of the 5 boards represent one part of the body. For example, you have the gray matter hole, which instead of mayor's hole, I guess, which is the head, the brain, the gray matter, and everything going there. It's related to brain, or then you have the heart, the groin, the kidneys and beans, for example. No, beans and groins, actually.
Yeah, it looks like a really cool game, so that's awesome. So we don't keep you all day. Mind us coming there to your hometown to stalk you. How would people keep up with you and everything you're doing over there at Too Fat to Fly Games?
Well, you can follow our projects, all our projects, on our website at toofattoflygames.com. We're also very active on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. We love talking to people, so we're answering constantly to them.
Yeah, and whenever you can, immediately.
Yeah. And of course, for the next, the
5 days.
remaining 5 days of the Kickstarter campaign, we're on Kickstarter and answering there.
Okay, awesome. And we'll leave links in the show notes so they can go ahead and jump on. Now, if somebody's listening later down on the road after the Kickstarter done and everything, is there any secrets in your back pocket you can share with us about upcoming games?
Well, we're already working on a new project. For now, whenever we have the time, because the campaign is, as you imagine, keeping us quite busy. But we're about to begin actual testing and working. We're working on the art soon for this next project. It's still under wraps, but I can tell you that it involves something like an old and tired.
Don't say, don't.
Don't. I guess it's under wraps, like you said.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So I guess you guys will just have to follow Too Fat to Fly Games.
Yeah.
To see what's next.
Well, I can tell you that I can give you and the listeners a small hint about that.
Okay.
Since we're from Romania, and especially our art guy, the graphic designer he's from Transylvania, so it might have something to do with that.
Oh, okay, awesome. So they'll have to pay attention. So there you go, awesome. And I didn't notice, is there a way to, if you go ahead and back Trouble in Templetown, is there a way to throw Moonshiners on or not?
No, for Moonshiners is already about to be delivered probably next month or so, to be delivered to the backers. And it's until we're gonna do a reprint, it's still it's not an option for now.
Okay, sounds good. Well, they should, so definitely don't dilly-dally and go ahead and back.
But I think if someone wants it, they can find our Essen. Find us at Essen.
Oh yeah, we'll be in Essen in Germany this year, and we'll have something like 50 copies there.
Well, there you go. So if anybody's going to Essen, make sure you hit them up if you didn't get in on the fun that's Moonshine. It's awesome. So like I said, we don't want to keep you all day, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leap with us to talk all about Trouble in Templetown that'll be on Kickstarter through this Tuesday, the 2nd of July. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
for having us. We had fun.
No problem. Well, that was great sitting down with them to talk all about Templetown. Now I'm even more excited to play it. If you feel the same way, don't dilly-dally and make sure you back this great game before this upcoming Tuesday, the 2nd of July, as it's only on Kickstarter through then. Now, let's go with Batterina Leaf. Where are we going, Batterina Leaf?
Kickstarter corner!
He stood squinting in the noonday sun, the braggart youth in front of him with something to prove. Hey, old-timer, how long has your pine box queen measured up for? Came the shrill voice from down the road, the ineffective taunt barely covering the shake in the kid's voice. Longer than you've been breathing, child, came his gruff reply. Jones noticed the kid twitch and reach for his rusty shooting iron. Did that sound familiar to you? Don't worry, we're here so it will. It's part of the story of Six Gun Showdown. Six Gun Showdown is a quick 5 to 10 minute game where players are characters in a Wild West shootout. The game combines strategy, memory, and a dexterity element, like a quick draw that serves to generate tension and guides the players to read their opponent's actions, really immersing them into the feeling of being in a shootout. Designed as a small box game that is as quick to learn as it is to play, Six Gun Showdown can be enjoyed as part of a board game night, either as a quick game between other games or run as a small tournament of linked games. Players can choose one of 6 characters that each have their own deck of cards and unique dice that require different strategies to be successful. This gives Six Gun Showdown layers of tactical depth that will have you playing the game again and again. Go back the quick draw card game for those with nerves of steel 6-gun showdown before Friday the 5th of July, and make sure you're subscribed to Getting Geeky with Game Relief so you don't miss my sit down with the mastermind of this game when we have our showdown episode. I'm a huge fan of Scooby-Doo, so this game greatly reminds me of such. As you might know, escape rooms are all the rage, but someone is taking it to the next level. During a quiet stroll through the park one peaceful evening, you're attacked from behind and knocked unconscious. You wake up blindfolded. You remove the strip of cloth from your eyes and find yourself in the middle of a forest. Directly in front of you, under the moonlight, stands a weathered, hand-painted wooden sign that reads, Camp Hackaway. Next to you is a flashlight with a note attached, Welcome to Body Count. Terror at Camp Hackaway board game, which is a horror-themed board game for 2 to 4 players. Try to be the first to escape Camp Hackaway. It includes a Kickstarter exclusive expansion pack. Body Count Terror at Camp Hackaway is the first chapter in the Body Count series of horror-themed board games from Game Master J. In this chapter, you've been kidnapped and wake up in the outskirts of Camp Hackaway and must survive the night while searching for the one item that will allow you to escape. Meanwhile, crazed serial killer Hackin' Hank stalks the campground, eliminating players one by one. Will you survive? Find out by backing Body Count Terror at Camp Hackaway board game before Thursday, the 4th of July. Have you seen Sprocket, the game that just launched to Kickstarter? It looks awesome. You each get a card from a different level and build the object it asks you to. The first one who builds it in complete form and dings the bell proceeds to the next round or next level, and they'll get a harder card. It reminds me of Ubongo that we played in game group, except the pieces are 3D. And play gets harder the further you proceed. Their Kickstarter video shows and tells you exactly how to play. It looks pretty fun. Plus, we're teaming up with them to do a giveaway over on thegiveawaygeek.com. Plus, we'll be doing an interview with them as well. So, in the meantime, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss that show. And also, in the meantime, go watch our video and check out the game and back Sprocket, the game, before Tuesday, the 9th of July. Casual Game Insider magazine is now on Kickstarter for its 8th year. Get great deals on annual and lifetime subscriptions, back issues, and advertising. Each issue now features a free game to play and enjoy. Casual Game Insider has been receiving high praise from gaming media since the first issue in 2012. It has been called the best board gaming magazine on the market by several reviewers, a magazine that is serious about quality, by Purple Pawn, and a great resource and fun read by the Spiel podcast. Bezier Games has praised its super accessible format that's both welcoming and engaging. And Ultra Pro says the paper quality and production quality are just flat out better than most publications in tabletop. Find out what all the hype is about at casualgamerevolution.com/Kickstarter. We teased about this during our sponsor spots, so here you go. Both Thundergriff Games and Phase Shift Games are running a very successful Kickstarter campaign for the new game Dungeon Drop. Dungeon Drop is an instant dungeon, infinite possibilities, a delightful dungeon crawler for 2 to 4 players. Gather your gear and prepare to dive into the labyrinth. Teeming with untold treasure, the tunnels are said to be inhabited by unusual creatures, both adorable and terrible. Keep your wits about you as the very walls shift into the torchlight. It's time to drop into the dungeon. It's the dungeon crawl that you won't need an actual board for your game. Go check out Dungeon Drop's Kickstarter now. Hopefully, we'll get Jason on the show to talk all about it. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our Dungeon Drop episode. And either way, make sure to check out Dungeon Drop and back it before the 3rd of July.
Ignite is a simple, mechanically themed card game with board game elements. The goal is to destroy your opponent's forge before they destroy yours. Each player is given a game board, and a 30-card deck full of minions called a forge. The game plays similarly to other games in the genre. Cards have attack, health, and cost values, but the rules are less complicated and more fun, making it easier to start and harder to stop. The main mechanic of the game is Ignite, of course. In this game, your bots will ignite, hopefully many, many times. How will they ignite? With these 2 dice. When your bot ignites, simply roll the Ignite dice to determine which target you hit and for how much. The damage corresponds to the card's Ignite values. This makes the game fun and chaotic, but fear not. To win, you must power up your bot's Ignite abilities with your other cards, the Forgelings. Forgelings are mischievous, trigger-happy, goblin-like creatures that live in your forge, and they work well with your bots. Forgelings upgrade your bots, help them ignite multiple times in random explosions, or provide powerful, game-changing effects. The Ignite decks are expertly designed to make every game uniquely exciting and crazy, and to make combining cards simple and fun. To add more players, just sit in a circle and your Ignite effects hit both neighboring players. So, what are you waiting for? Want to ignite your bots already? Help bring Ignite to life, and we'll provide you with a portal to the world of bots and forgelings. Not to be played within 10 feet of combustible materials. A game of crazy combos and epic explosions. Kickstarter coming June 2019.
Did you catch my last episode entitled, Are You Nearly Dead? Then Try Hiller's Dice? You didn't? Well, I'll wait for you then. It can most easily be accessed via our show notes and the update via Hiller's Dice updates entitled Nearly 113%. We approach our first stretch goal giveaway announcement. Go listen, I'll wait for you. What do you think? I agree. I'd rather step on these than Legos, and I'd rather roll these than typical D4s as well. If you feel the same way, make sure you back their project and enter our giveaway before Monday the 8th of July. The giveaway can be accessed via the episode show notes as well as over at thegiveawaygeek.com. If you liked any of the games we talked about in today's episode, make sure you check out their Kickstarter campaigns to show them and us a little love. Backing them goes a long way. Plus, make sure to stay up to date on all the giveaways we're doing over at thegiveawaygeek.com. There will be at least 2 to 3 new giveaways going live over there next week. It's our least favorite time as well as yours. So until next episode, make sure you go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others in the geek fold by sharing our episodes with others, as well as keeping up with the giveaways we're doing over at thegiveawaygeek.com. Gamer Leaf out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.